Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the regular Michael ZFG workshop late night edition, I guess. Just wanted to make a quick video talking about, I'd like to say, an unofficial process of how I went about changing my radium motor bearings. I've been thrashing these motors around for over a year. Typically rides 2 to 3 times a week, 20 kilometers per ride, 50% road, 50% off-road. Heard some noises and some weird shit happening in the motors, so I figured it's a good time to pull them apart, give them a blowout and replace the bearings on the one that was squeaking. So I'm just going to go into little snips, the folks that are Star Wars fans and watching Ashoka, on how to go about just taking these things apart and what I did to clean them out and put them together again. So it's apart now, right? But the first thing I want to point out is the clip removal. I know a lot of folks might be tempted to go out to the auto store and get those really fancy pliers that open up the clip and you can slide it out. There really isn't any need. In fact, it's probably overkill, and you will damage the clip just because you're forcing it open. Rather, you're better off with a screwdriver. If we can go there with a screwdriver on the end there. What you do is you flick that up. It just lifts up like that. You can take it off the shaft. It's going to prove me wrong, but it's unclipped right there. Maybe I'll just give it that some edge. There it is. Oh, come on, zoom. There it is. It's come off. Pretty easy, right? No need to get fancy with fancy clips and fancy tools. So you remove the clip. There's no need to undo any of the screws on the top. It really is just the clip, and then there'll be a washer underneath that clip, and that slides out. I'm gonna have to be careful with this, right? Because once it grapples on, and you want to make sure that your fingers are definitely away from that edge, because that, when it pulls, it really sucks it in. So once you've removed the clip and the washers come out, you need to apply a lot of force to take that out. It's not going to feel like it comes out, but you just, you got to lift, guys. Go to the gym, lift a few kilos, work out, but you got to apply a lot of force to separate these two units. The next part, what I found was when I did take it apart, I was actually surprised. When these motors first came out, I was skeptical that you're going to ingest a lot of stuff in the back here. And after a year of running these motors uncleaned, when I pulled them apart, I only got a small amount of fine dust. It was almost like a plume. Apart from that, there was nothing else in here. Just a dry wipe with a rag, and they were clean. What I did do though was on the other motor, I got a shop vac, and I just put the shop vac to suck out any dust or plume that was in there, right? So I think that's a good preventative maintenance step, right? So if you are cleaning your board out, just get the shop vac and suck out any plume or any dust that's in there. But apart from that, they're solid. No issues with these whatsoever. So then we get to the, so you've pulled it apart, you've got the circlip off, use your muscles, right? Now there's 4 bearings that are in this unit right here. So you'll have the top bearing with that black rubber will be on top there, and then there'll be another bearing on the bottom there, like that. Now, if you're on the official Radium show channel, the skate tool method, where you get the edge of that skate tool in there and you can pry it out, it works. It is a little bit tricky, right? It's not the easiest process, but you can do it. But if you're old, short-tempered like myself, and you just want to get the job done. There is another method using a more specialist tool set, I guess. So one of the key challenges is because these bearings, when they're in there, they're sitting like that, right? Normally, if you're replacing bearings on a motocross wheel, right, you can get a screwdriver from the other side. You can just bang it out. It falls out. You can't really do it with the motors just because they're so tight fitting and they're stuck together, right? So what you need to do is you need to get this bearing off first before you can whack that out using the through method, right? And that's really the tricky thing. It's getting that first bearing out. So if you're not using the fancy skate tool, what I did was I put my motor in a vise. So pro tip number 2, on your vise, get yourself some EVA foam, nice foam padding with a 3M backing, and that will enable you to clamp down on any really expensive object and get a good solid grip. So in this case, taking out the bearing, like I mentioned earlier, just with the screwdriver and tapping it as you go around. As you go around, tap, tap, just light, doesn't have to be with force, and that'll just eventually come out. That's how I got these guys out. Obviously I did it first, I didn't do it live, but yeah, that's another pro tip, right? So it's always handy to have that soft padding on your vise, just because it enables you to put those real expensive items in there and prevent any damage from happening on them. Okay. I've got the bottom 2 bearings in, and I was about to hammer that one in, but then I realized I forgot the little screw here, right? So I'm going to put that in there, put this back on top. Now, obviously you don't want to hit that, right? Well, you can, but you're going to fuck it up. The best way to get a nice seating position is use the old bearing and just make sure that's nice and level, and just tap that through. You don't need the old bearings, right? That's what they're there for. Voila, that's it. So now I have my new bearings that are seated in there, nice and tight. And you can, let's come around now that I got them in. I can probably show you a little bit. See how that lip is right in there? It is so hard when you're replacing that first one to get it. You can't get any bite. You can't even use a screwdriver with a slightly fatter tip. It's just not going to get enough bite in that first bearing. So little screwdriver with a shimmied thin tip, you can just get it in there and just give it a whack, right? So that's it. So now this is ready to put back together. I hope you found this useful. Bearing maintenance, my method of getting the bearings out. There are other methods, official methods. This is the unofficial method. So yeah, there you go. That's it. Late night video from the workshop. Just having a bit of fun. Cheers guys. Adios.